This video is D&D Basics number 5, and it is about how spells work. In the previous video, I spoke a little bit about spell slots and who has spellcasting abilities. Unlike other games and editions of D&D, spells are very versatile in 5th edition. It isn't as simple as knowing damage and range. Some spells are more than that. It is important to know various things about your spells so you can get the most out of your abilities as a spellcaster and better benefit your group as a whole. First, you need to know what spell level the spell is and how it scales in different spell slots. Some spells may not scale in an advantageous way. For example, the spell Bless, at first level, blesses up to 3 characters. Then, if you put it in a higher spell level slot, it'll bless up to 4 characters, and 5, and so on. So putting this into a high level spell slot may not be what you want to, how you want to use it. The casting time is important because you need to know if the spell will require your action, a bonus, a reaction, or a whole turn to cast. Sometimes spells can take many hours to cast. So knowing the casting time is very important for you. With the option of a ritual spell, you can spend 10 minutes doing a ritual in order to not spend a spell slot. This is a really great way to use some of the spells and not burn up any of your spell slots. Something I've noticed in 5th edition is that spell slots are very valuable. Especially if you're running Horde of the Dragon Queen. That first section is a pain. Just something to keep in mind. If the spell requires a bonus action, that means it's a really quick spell that you can cast like that. Another nice thing about the bonus spells is that you can do your regular action, whether that's a different spell or an attack or disengage, and then you can do your bonus action after. Just remember, you only get 1 bonus action per turn. If a spell can be cast as a reaction spell, then that means you're reacting to something, whether it's being attacked by an enemy. So for example, Shield is a reaction spell, and if an enemy goes to attack you, you can cast Shield as a reaction. And you can only do 1 reaction per turn, but when you do this, it bumps your armor class up, allowing you to have a magical shield around you. Other spells might be a reaction in an offensive sense. Maybe the enemy leaves your reach, provoking an attack of opportunity. And now you can cast a spell as an attack of opportunity because it's a reaction spell. Just remember with long casting times that you have to maintain focus the whole time. So you might have to make a concentration check if you get attacked or something else happens in that time. So just keep that in mind when casting spells that have long casting times. Also keep that in mind with concentration spells. The range and area of effect of a spell can vary and make you cast different spells in different situations. So that's very important to know if it's a cone, if you have a straight line spell, if it's a cube, cylinder, all of that stuff is very important. As for the range, some spells are touch spells, so you have to be right next to your enemy or friend. And other spells can be cast up to over 100 feet. There's some feats that you could take that also will double the range and things like that. There are various components that make up a spell. You might have a verbal component, which means it needs to be spoken. If you can't speak, then you can't cast the spell. So for instance, if you're underwater, if you're under the effects of a silent spell, any of that, then you won't be able to cast a verbal spell. Another thing to keep in mind is cymatics. So if you have a cymatic component, then you need at least a free hand, or you need to have the feat that allows you to cast spells through a weapon, or you need an arcane focus of some sort to use it as well. So for instance, maybe you can cast spells through your staff, and that's part of your arcane focus and material. The next part of the components would be a material component. So every spell will have, not every spell, a lot of spells will have components that you need to have. For instance, a diamond or a pearl. But if you have the arcane focus, you can bypass that using your arcane focus. So your staff, your necklace, your holy symbol, things like that, to bypass that part of the components. The duration of a spell can affect a lot of things. It can either be an instantaneous spell that happens like that, or it could be a spell that can last up to a minute or 10 minutes and you need to maintain a concentration check to keep it going. If it requires a concentration check, much like I've said before, If you were to take damage or something would normally throw off a character's concentration and the DM tells you to make a concentration check, then you'll have to make a concentration check. So keep that in mind when going to cast a concentration spell. Now, with also a concentration spell, you can't cast another concentration spell while you're doing that. If you go to cast another concentration spell, it ends the first concentration spell. Here are some of my favorite spells that aren't regular actions. You got Healing Word, which is a bonus spell, Shield, reaction, Shield of Faith, which is a bonus spell, Shillelagh, which is a bonus spell, Searing Smite is a bonus spell, and Swift Quiver, which is also a bonus. So I chose some from a couple different things, so you can use them as like an Eldritch Knight or a Cleric, Druid, things like that. But those are just some of my favorite spells that aren't regular actions. If you have some, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what some of yours are, and I'll look into them. So that is how spells work in D&D 5th edition. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Also, maybe you have some spells that you would prefer to use. I tried to give you some of the ones that I like. And leave your stories below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet, be sure to go over to my website. It's rpgjuice.com, where I have a blog, I have my videos there. I also have, soon to be, I'm going to have a podcast. I have a store where you can buy the very first Got Juice shirt. And yeah, so look forward to hearing your thoughts. But yeah, go check out my website and all of that. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.